Hello and welcome to NEWUP Weather News, the Sunday report for Christmas Eve, December 24th. Normally it's a Sunday night report, but today it's a Sunday morning report as we're getting ready for the holiday season. We're going to be visiting with some family later today, so I wanted to get this out as soon as I could. So starting with the question on everybody's mind, which is, are we going to see a white Christmas? If you look here on the screen, this is the national snow analysis from the National Weather Service as of yesterday. And you can see that while there is some snow on the ground, there's not a lot to be had, particularly unless you're along that Vilas Gogebic County line, maybe north of Wakefield, Marinette area, going towards Lake Gogebic and up towards Silver City, and of course in the Huron Mountains and around Michigamme. But otherwise, you're going to be kind of hard-pressed to find any snow. I took the liberty of getting some snapshots from yesterday's webcams throughout Michigan, and I got one in Wisconsin too. So this is Merriweather. This would be on the north side of Lake Gogebic. You can see they've got some snow on the ground. It's not a lot, but they're probably doing the best out of all of them. Golden Lake, this is between Iron River and Waters Meet. And you can see they're not doing so good. Twin Lakes, just south of Houghton. Again, some snow on the ground, but really not too good. Up in the Keweenaw, way up there in Phoenix, it pretty much looks like it's still fall up there. Very little snow to speak of there. Michigamme, again, closer to the Huron Mountains, they saw a little bit more snow in that last storm we had last weekend. So you can see the remnants there, but the fog yesterday, I've always heard that the saying that fog eats snow, and I'd be willing to bet that by this morning, this has whittled down a little bit more. Hermansville, that would be between Iron Mountain and Powers. You can see the fog that we had yesterday, pretty crazy. Also, in Minocqua at this time, you can see there was very difficult to see even what was going on in Minocqua because of all of the fog. So lots of different things going on. And so I want to talk about what I think we're all thinking about is the rain for Christmas. So this is 6 a.m. this morning, and you can see that the rain has not gotten here yet. And I don't think the rain is going to get here until this evening. So this will be 6 o'clock tonight. And this is the North American model. This might be underdoing it a little bit, but you can see that that rain really isn't going to push in until overnight Sunday into Monday. So this would be 3 a.m. going into Monday, and you can see that rain is starting to finally reach into north central Wisconsin, the western upper peninsula, and now it's just starting to touch into northeastern Wisconsin and the central UP. So this initial band is going to almost move north-south. So you're going to see how that band is lifting north towards the Keweenaw and then out of here. And then by noon on Monday, on Christmas Day, you will see that this band of rain will come up again from the south and pivot around this low pressure system that's located around Minnesota and Iowa. And this is going to bring more rain for us as we go into Tuesday. It's going to be a pretty active week, all things considered. This particular model, I don't necessarily know that it's going to clear out this quickly on Tuesday. This would be 6 a.m. according to the North American model. I think the rain is going to stick around a little bit longer if I had to take a guess, even possibly leading into Wednesday. And you can see how that low is going to sit here and pivot around. And I think that's where we're going to see just some more residual rain, unless this is speaking into the possibility of a dry slot, which can happen with winter storms. Even though it's going to be rain, this is still a winter-style storm, so you might get this pocket of dry air that comes in as this low-pressure system spins around. So if you go back to earlier, what you're seeing here, this feeding of the moisture coming in, that's all coming from the Gulf of Mexico. As that low draws in that moisture, but then when the low moves a little bit further north and even almost a little bit to the west in this particular model, then that air is going to be pulled in from the desert southwest, and that's what creates that dry slot. So if that happens, that could really cut down on rain totals, but I'm thinking that Tuesday is going to be a wet day also, and possibly even going into Wednesday. This is the Weather Prediction Center, part of the National Weather Service. Their estimated rainfall by 6 a.m. on Thursday, 6 a.m. Central Time. So you can see where the heavier bands are going to line up pretty much right along Highway 64 going towards central Wisconsin, and then along the Lake Superior shoreline on the Keweenaw side. And maybe just a little bit up towards north of Marquette, Big Bay area. So that's looking like we could potentially see up to or over 1 inch of rain over the next 3 to 4 days. And a small little pocket of lighter rain here around Forest County, Iron County, southern Baraga, southern Marquette, Dickinson, northern Menominee, Delta County. And then again, once you get south of Oconto County, Shawano County, and into the Green Bay, Milwaukee area is going to be less than that. But you can see that the heavier rain is going to line up pretty much on our western counties and in our southern counties. And again, if that dry slot comes in on Tuesday, as the North American model shows, these totals will be lessened. What's going to be interesting is that there is still frost in the ground. So this rain is not really going to have anywhere to go. So you might see a lot of ponding, especially in your yard or on gravel roads, places where the water can't run off. And if the temperatures cool off later in the week, which it looks like they will, then we might have a situation where that standing water turns into ice, and then we could have some slippery roads, secondary roads, and things like that. But let's move on to what the rest of the week looks like. But actually, we'll start with Sunday. This is the GFS model, as we always start with here. And you can see, again, you get that north-south line of rain, and this isn't even pushing it in to the eastern counties in the Upper Peninsula or the Northeast Wisconsin counties. This is 6 a.m. Monday, and it looks like that rain doesn't even get there. But then you can see that second arm as that Gulf moisture pushes in around that low pressure system, bringing it to us. This would be midnight 6 p.m. Monday night, and then this would be midnight going into Tuesday. And again, this seems to like a dry slot as that air rushes in from the southwest end of that low pressure system. And then you notice that the cold air is going to start filtering in. So you might see some snow. You may run into some lake effect snow Wednesday going into Thursday for our lake effect snowbelt counties. It just depends, because the wind is going to be coming in what it looks like almost out of the northeast. So you might see that along the Huron Mountain Range, but then maybe not so much along the western edge of Lake Superior. We'll just have to wait and see how that pans out with the wind in particular. But it is speaking to that. So do be prepared if you're traveling Wednesday, Thursday into this week. You might run into some lake effect snow if you're heading up into the northern UP. Going through into Friday, and this is going to be your quiet stretch, Friday into Saturday, and then Sunday also, not a whole lot going on, which will be good for any folks who maybe are traveling later in the holiday weekend. For those folks who are going to be going out and celebrating New Year's, of course, be safe when you're out there. Let's go to the European model. And again, same thing here. This would be midnight. This is a little bit more aggressive, midnight Monday. This is a little bit more aggressive, bringing in that rain to the eastern counties. But then you can see that secondary band of rain coming in, pushing through out of here by 6 a.m. Now, this would be noon on Tuesday on the European model. And you can see what I mean when I say that there's a possibility that this rain may be ongoing. If this low doesn't move far enough north, it's going to keep drawing Gulf moisture in and landing right over where we are. If this moves north, then we'll get into this dry slot, but it just depends on the positioning of that low. So the European model seems to like to keep that low pressure system a little bit more stationary, bringing in rain all the way even into 6 a.m. Wednesday for some of our western counties. And then as that moves away, it's drawing in that colder air. You can see that we might get a bit of a rain-snow mix on Wednesday as it pushes out of here. There it's touching on those lake effect snow bands for Thursday, and then quiet Friday, Saturday, Sunday, going into next week, maybe a little bit of lake effect snow next week. So let's talk about the temperatures going into this week. There is a possibility that we are going to be setting some records for Christmas Day temperatures at places where the temperatures are recorded. So Green Bay, Marquette, Rhinelander, we'll have to keep an eye out for that. So this would be 6 a.m. this morning. You can see temperatures in the upper 30s to low 40s, and they're not going to budge. They're only going to get warmer. So this would be noon today, going into the afternoon, and you can see that push of warm air. This is the GFS model, really wanting to push those 50s in. Even overnight, this is midnight, 3 a.m., 6 a.m., Christmas morning, those temperatures do not budge. And then as the day starts, those temperatures pretty much hold steady, if not get a little bit of a bump in the south. It's going to be mid to upper 40s for most of us, with the exception of along the western edge of the UP, where the temperatures may struggle to get out of 40, or get to 40, I should say. So going into Tuesday, this would be 6 a.m. Tuesday. Again, those warmer temperatures are hanging on. If you watch, let me play this back a little bit. You can see how that low pressure system pivots. If you watch right along this line here, as it swings that air in, you can see how that changes and how it's forcing that warmer, or excuse me, that drier air up there. But that could also mean that it might be a little bit cooler too. But this model tends to like to keep it in the mid 40s all the way through Tuesday. Going into Wednesday, this would be midnight, Tuesday going into Wednesday, and then we are going to start seeing the temperatures drop. So this is noon on Wednesday, upper 30s to low 40s, except for along the areas of like Ontonagon and Gogebic County. And then that cold air is going to push in. So this would be 6 a.m. on Thursday, temperatures in the 20s. Noon on Thursday, they really didn't move much. And then they're going to get a little bit progressively colder after that. It's going to be a gradual cool down. It's not going to be anything terribly cold. So this will be 6 a.m. Friday. You can see that that colder air is kind of locked out into the Dakotas and western Minnesota. And then as we go through the day on Friday, it really doesn't warm up much. Same thing. Saturday, low 20s, warms up to the upper 20s to low 30s. Same thing on Sunday. Start your day off with the mid to low 20s, and then finish your day off in the upper 20s to low 30s. And that's on the GFS model. Taking a look at the European model, same thing. You're going to see those warm temperatures going into Christmas Day. This is 6 a.m. on Christmas. This would be 6 p.m. on Christmas. And again, some of these spots in southern Wisconsin will definitely probably be seeing record temperatures. But even if I back it up a little bit, so this would be noon on Christmas Day, 44 degrees in Marquette, according to the European model for Christmas Day. That's just crazy. So this warm air, again, is going to pivot around that low pressure system. And you remember that this one kept the rain in a little bit longer. So this would be Wednesday, and that's going to keep the warmer temperatures around a little bit longer too, before that low starts to move out of the way, and then those colder temperatures push in. So this would be 6 a.m. Thursday and 6 p.m. Thursday. Temperatures are really not moving much out of the upper teens to low 20s. 6 a.m. on Friday to 6 p.m. on Friday, same thing. You're going to see that they'll warm up a little bit in the day, but not too much. Saturday, kind of a carbon copy. Same thing with Sunday. Maybe a little bit cooler on Sunday, but then it'll warm up nicely. So it's going to be a really unusually warm couple of days for today, Christmas, and Tuesday, and then into the first part of Wednesday. But then temperatures will gradually taper off into more normal temperature ranges. So I want to go ahead and pull up our forecast slide for today. So you can see that we've got that rain and possibly rain-snow mix on Wednesday, possible record temperatures on Monday and Tuesday, possibly pushing 50. Monday would be the warmest day of the week. We will dry out, however, by late Wednesday and going into Thursday, and as you can see that the temperatures are going to be cooling off. I think it's going to be mostly cloudy for most of the week. If there's any chance for sun, you would see it Saturday. So Saturday would be the day that if there's anything, maybe you want to try and get outside and do some, I don't know what kind of winter activities you'd get done, but if you wanted to get it done, Saturday might be your best chance for getting just a peek of sun if you don't mind a little bit cooler temperatures. But as you can see, it's going to be a very wet and active start to the week, but then temperatures will gradually cool back down to normal or close to normal. I think we'll still be slightly above average, being in the 30s, but you can see that it's going to mellow out quite a bit by New Year's Eve going into New Year's Day. We'll go ahead and we'll take a look at the CFS model also. So this is touching in on that storm that's going to be coming through here as this moves through. Again, if you remember, CFS is going to just give you the general idea, so don't take a lot of faith into thinking, oh, that's a lot of rain or looks like a lot of snow. It's just touching on that weather is going to be there. And you can see that it's going to be keeping us pretty dry going through most of next week. As we move into the first week of 2024, really nothing to write home about. So you just played through what you just watched there. There might be an Alberta Clipper coming in on the tail end of week after next, but I have a sneaking suspicion that may change. And even if that does come through, Alberta Clippers usually don't amount to much more than maybe an inch or two of snow, with the exception of the people in lake effect snowbelts who might see 3 to 6 inches. But we'd have to see if that pans out. Now, as we get through the end of that week, pretty quiet. Nothing substantial to be worried about in the coming days, other than this rain event that we're going to be seeing tomorrow going into Wednesday. So that is my report for this week. Be sure to give this video a like and click subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Don't be afraid to share this video out with folks that you may know that live in northern Wisconsin and the Upper Peninsula that may be interested in this forecast. I'd love to get the word of my channel out a little bit more. Again, I'm not a meteorologist. I'm just a weather fan. I could say I'm not a weatherman. I'm a weather fan. But hopefully this information can be helpful to you as you plan your holiday week. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. And I look forward to seeing you all next week as we get ready to ring in 2024 and see what the weather brings us for next week. So have a wonderful Christmas and holiday season, and we will see you next Sunday. Take care. "6 a.m. on Monday, upper teens to low 20s, but then, oops, let's back up.